meeting. So this is an exciting time, and we're happy that you all can share this moment with us right before we officially launch here in the county. Now, the Chamber will focus on access to capital, advocacy, capacity building. Community service will be a key component, connecting our members to decision makers in the community, having business management and entrepreneurship training, and obviously we will promote our member companies. We plan to be a gathering place for our companies to discuss and resolve issues in our business and the larger community. So we are here to have an impact. We are hosting this event to underscore the importance of our business community and our members engaging elected officials and candidates so that they understand our concerns and issues while they are running, so that when they are in office, they can act to address our unique needs. But for me and for the Chamber, it doesn't stop when someone is elected. Instead, the dialogue continues, and the Chamber will create a space for our elected officials to talk about their position, their plans for the future, and any progress they have made on our pressing issues. As we all know, business and politics collide in many different ways. Therefore, our Chamber will actively engage in the process and will seek to activate our Chamber members. So, welcome once again. At this time, I want to recognize our partners. We have two wonderful partners for this event, two very well-known organizations in the community, the Urban League of Broward County and the League of Women Voters of Broward County. All three of our organizations have to be neutral, meaning that we do not endorse a candidate or a political party, yet we also have the desire to educate our members and our community about the candidates and elections in general. So it seemed like a perfect opportunity to reach out to the League of Women Voters and Urban League here in Broward County. First up, I'll have Mark Reyes, the Senior Director of Community Relations and Administrations for Urban League of Broward County, say a few words. Thank you, Mark.
Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you for coming to the Urban League and to this candidate meet and greet. My name is Mark Reyes. I am the Senior Director of Community Relations here at the Urban League. On behalf of our Board of Directors and our President and CEO, Dr. Jermaine Smith-Baugh, welcome. If this is your first time here, raise your hand. That's awesome. We like to see folks coming out here. This is why we're here in the Sistron community. We want to welcome you to Sistron, welcome you to the Urban League, and you can think of this as your home. So we want you to come back and make sure this is part of the work you're doing and the engagement that you're having with the communities that we serve here at the Urban League. Just really quickly, I just want to say this is part of our work around civic engagement. We see it as a four-pronged approach. One is voter registration, and we are a third-party voter registration organization similar to the League of Women Voters, helping to register folks to vote. We really think it's important. And the great thing is we're seeing a lot of folks coming out wanting to register for the first time and or update their registration to be able to vote in this upcoming primary and in the election in November. The second thing for us is voter education. We have a lot of initiatives and amendments on the ballot, lots of candidates, as you can see here today. We thank all the candidates for coming out today. We have a lot here today, and there's a lot of information that we want to get out to the community so that we're also informed voters. Third is turnout, so we're going to be doing some work to really make sure that folks actually come out to vote. We're actually really excited because we're going to be taking our 18-year-olds out to the library to do some early voting on the 25th. So we're really excited making sure that we're getting our high school students out to vote. And then finally for us, it's making sure that our elected officials are held accountable, right? And so we're going to be doing some follow-up with those that are elected to make sure that they're doing what they're saying that they're going to do, and then making sure that our voters understand what's happening up in Tallahassee, what's happening down in Fort Lauderdale, or wherever they're in office. Really making sure that we have informed constituents here so that we can hold our elected officials accountable, right? Because this is not about coming, asking for our vote, and then doing something opposite. We really want to make sure that our elected officials are responding to the needs of the communities that we serve. So again, welcome to the Urban League. I hope you all, thank you everyone for coming out. Enjoy the evening. I will also say, what I really appreciate about this format is that what I've seen already is that folks are talking to each other. We don't always get that in some of these candidate forums. We get a minute on the mic, that's all we hear. We don't get to engage with you. And we're really happy to all the candidates that are here today really thankful for giving us that time so that we can really engage with you, hear your platform, hear why we should vote for you, and the like. And hopefully this will be a great event for you as well. So again, thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Mom. Next up is Burdette Jepson. She's the current president of the League of Women Voters of Broward County. Welcome.
Now, we're a little bit late with our branding, but we did it. Thank you for coming. I see a lot of familiar faces. By the end of the election season, I should know how many children you have and your blood type, maybe. I am very excited to be here for a couple of reasons. First of all, I love to partner with groups that have the same commitment to getting people out to vote that we have. We're nonpartisan, we don't endorse candidates, we don't endorse parties, but we endorse voting. And we want people to get out there, register, and vote. We believe it is very, very important. Our motto this year is making democracy work. And the only way democracy works is if the voters use their power and vote. Shahiwa is a member of the League of Women Voters. She is also a community leader, and her organization, the Broward County Black Chamber of Commerce, is just beginning, but obviously there is a place for it in the community, and we are very supportive of what she's doing. She's a very strong woman, and we like that. And we like Mark, too. But thank you for coming. I know you're all excited to meet the candidates, and I want to thank the candidates for running. You as candidates are going to hear me say this several times. It's hard to do. It takes guts to get out there. And there are many of us, we have opinions about you. And you have to develop a tough skin. And I appreciate it. It's the highest form of public service. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Now, at this time, I just want to take a moment to recognize our current elected officials that are here with us this evening. First, I'm going to recognize our U.S. Representative, Elsie Hastings. Next, I'll recognize our Broward County Commissioner, Dale Honus. And I'll also recognize Mayor Ross from Cooper City. Thank you all for being here with us. I went off the sign-in sheet, so if there are elected officials who did not sign in, just wave your hand so people know you're in the room. I do want to recognize you. Okay. Okay, sir.
Judge Robert Diaz.
Okay, Judge Robert Diaz is here. Thank you. Now, as we mentioned earlier, we are obligated as neutral organizations to invite all of the candidates on the slate for a particular position, regardless of political affiliation. So you'll hear from all of the candidates who confirmed and those candidates who were able to join us today. Now, as you hear from the candidates, I encourage you to think about the issues that are most important to you, to write them down, and to ask questions you have for the candidates and have a detailed conversation after the presentations. As Mark mentioned, that's the purpose of this format, to have short presentations before the audience, but then we want you, the voters, the residents, the people who have concerns, to be able to engage and ask questions of the candidates, to get to know them a little bit better before you cast a vote for that individual. First up is the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, this House is responsible for voting on the best interests of Floridians in Washington, D.C. As a member of the U.S. Congress and the U.S. House of Representatives, they vote on issues such as, something that was in the news this year, the tax reform, obviously the environment, immigration, and Voting Rights Act restoration, etc. Many, many issues that affect us nationwide. So first up, we have our sitting congressman in the Democratic primary, Elsie Hastings, in District 20.
Thank you so much.
much, Sharifa. Let me give you a little bit of history. I had the good fortune, and I said to the president of the League of Women Voters last night, I had the good fortune of being the second male member of the League of Women Voters. The third male member of the National Organization of Women. And that was quite some time ago in the formation of this organization. And Sharifa, the Black Chamber of Commerce goes back with Leroy Mizell, George Burroughs, and Bondi Mizell, and a bunch of those persons. And I wasn't among the original members, but I did join, as well as the Chamber of Commerce here, and the Urban League. That goes back with the Pinkstons and Margaret Roach, and I was an original founder of the Broward chapter of the Urban League. Had the good fortune of having gone to school with Vernon Jordan, so I had an inroad to him. But Margaret Roach and the Pinkstons and Leonard Gainey did the basic work. Now, most of you don't know any of those people. The only reason I mentioned it is it's important to have grounding, and I believe that experience is what brings me to this particular position. I have a special favor that I ask everywhere I go. In addition to asking you to please vote for me, I do ask of those of you that are supporting different candidates to understand something. Elections allow that there are winners and losers. Regrettably, I have seen statewide and nationally and here, people who were extremely well qualified that did not win office, and then they go away and you never see them or never hear from them again. In this governor's race, I've made a decision about it, and I've made it known who I support. There are 5 candidates that have a chance, 2 that don't. There are 7 of them that are Democrats. I would not urge anybody to do what I say do, but what I do say is when we select a nominee, get busy and be about the business of November, unless you want a continuation of a state that has now allowed for education to be 45th, and all of the arguments. One of the gubernatorial candidates, Gwen Graham, uses the expression that Rick Scott says, jobs, jobs, jobs. She said, that's right, most people need 3 jobs in order to be able to conduct their business. So stay together is what I'm saying. And it's organizations like this. I appreciate these 4 rides. I appreciate my opponent. And the fact that she is not here. I'll see her in Inverary in a few minutes. But she's made some good presentations. I do want to say to you, the inadequate jobs, inadequate housing, and inadequate educational opportunity is ever present. You're on to something about businesses. There are 14,000 in this district. We need to encourage them with low interest loans. We need to expand the internet so that it reaches everybody. In rural and other areas, we need broadband. I'm told that my time is complete. So much more to say. I thank you all for participating here, particularly those that are seeking office. Thank you all for that.
Next up, we had a candidate in the Republican primary for District 2 for the U.S. House of Representatives at RSVP, Edison Walters. I just wanted to call him and see if he was present today. I didn't want to pass him by. He did RSVP. Okay. We'll move on. I see that he's not here. Okay, we're going to move on to the candidates for governor. Now, the governor is the head executive of the executive branch of the Florida state government and the commander-in-chief of the state's military forces. The governor has a duty to enforce state laws and the power to either approve or veto bills passed by the Florida legislature, to convene the legislature, and to grant pardons. It's a critical position. Therefore, it's important to know where the candidates stand on issues such as the environment. I'm sure a lot of you are hearing about the algae blooms and the problems they're causing. Stand your ground laws have been in the news recently. Medicaid expansion, voting rights restoration, economic development in blighted areas are just a few of the many issues that a governor will have to take on. Education, of course. That each candidate or their representative will have 3 minutes to address the crowd. And we're going to start just like you would see the candidates on your ballot. While we did invite the Republicans who were running in their primary, no one RSVP, so we're gonna move on to the Democrats in the primary. We're gonna start with Andrew Gillum. And right, we have a surrogate here for him today, Broward County Commissioner Dale Holness. We are going to start with a short video, and then Dale, you have the remaining 2 minutes and 30 seconds to. Just bear with me for a second.
What's impossible? The son of a bus driver becoming mayor of the capital city? Or that mayor standing up against the NRA so that guns couldn't be fired in city parks and win? How about running for governor and being the most progressive Democrat who would invest $1 billion in education and create Medicare for all? Is it impossible to come from nothing, be outspent 10-1 and win? Share this, buy a TV ad, and prove the impossible.
Good evening. Good evening. It's great to be here with you. Of course, I'm not Andrew Gillum. I'm Dale Holness. He's far taller than I and more handsome. But let me share with you this story of this young man who is fifth of 7 children, first to graduate high school, first to graduate college, student government president at FAMU, youngest person ever elected in Tallahassee's history, has transformed Tallahassee into being the fastest growing economy per capita in the state of Florida, 17th in the nation. That's a great accomplishment. So he's pledged to grow Florida's economy, transforming the economy so that folks don't have to work at 3 jobs. Get minimum wage to $15 per hour. Support Medicare for all. He believes insurance should be a right that people have. And not be like this current governor who's refused $7 billion that could protect 700,000 people and help to reduce your health care costs. Because guess what? If someone doesn't have insurance, where they end up? In the emergency room. Far more expensive than going to a doctor. So that's a major part of his platform. And I'll tell you this, on education, I've been with him now for 1.5 years on the campaign trail. He was the first of all the candidates to be out there pushing for a $50,000 starting salary for teachers. And not only does he say he's going to do it, he's told us how he's going to do it. By ensuring that the richest corporations in this state pay their fair share. Others are saying they're going to do this and that, but they haven't told you how they're going to do it. Or if there's money in the budget, we can move around. Exactly what money are they going to move around? Where are they going to cut? Where are they going to increase? What are they going to change? No one has said that. He has been bold enough to stand up and tell you what he's going to do with that. So a major investment in public school of $1 billion. Now private schools. He's taken on the gun lobby, as you've heard, and beat them twice. And he's not afraid of a fight. That's what I like about this young man. He's transparent, he's honest, he's clear. You meet him, you talk to him, you'll realize that this is not an ordinary politician. This is a public servant. And that's who we need to represent us. So let me tell you this. We're the underdog, but we're going to win. With your help, with your support. So we want you to call all the friends, all your neighbors, all your relatives, everyone in your phone. Tell them to vote for Andrew Gillum and tell them to also call their friends around. That's how we do this. We don't have the money for the slick commercial, but we have you. Thank you very much.
Next we have up Chris King. Did Chris King come? Okay. If not, we'll move on. He did RSVP. I did want to acknowledge that. Next up we have Mayor Philip Levine. Hi, come on up.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Honored to be here. I'm a Broward County boy, went to Addicks Middle School, went to Hollywood Hills High. My journey in life is a little different. My journey in life wasn't being in government my entire life because I'm sorry to say, I think government's the worst background for government, okay? Matter of fact, let me tell you how I started my life. I'm a proud product of Florida Public Schools. I'm the second person in my family to graduate college, and I'm the son of a single mom. And I actually went and took a job on a cruise ship and worked, and with $500 and a dream, I built a little company that grew. Then I decided to give back, and I ran for mayor. But let me tell you what's so adorable about this little profession called politics, folks. It's so cute. You know what you get to do? You get to tell everybody what you're going to do in the future. This is what I'm going to do in the future. By the way, if you give me the job as the CEO of an $89 billion a year organization called the state of Florida, oh, let me tell you what I'm going to do. But let me tell you the one question I'm going to ask these career politicians. Well, just tell me, what have you actually done? You know that one question we ask in business? Because when people come to us sometimes and they say, we like your job, and you say, well, you know what, great. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you've done. Because that's how I know what you'll be able to get done if you actually get the job. So as a two-term mayor of Miami Beach, let me tell you what I did. I didn't talk about raising the minimum living wage. I actually raised the minimum living wage in the city of Miami Beach. Unfortunately, the governor of Florida has stopped us because he's suing us. But that's why I'm running for governor, because I want to make sure that everybody can raise the minimum wage in the state of Florida. That's what we're going to do. Number two, everyone talks about police reform. We're going to reform the police department, really? As I say to all my opponents, tell me about the police department you reformed, okay? I'll tell you about the one I reformed, because before I became mayor, an African-American male was shot 100 and something times in his car in the city of Miami Beach during Memorial Day weekend. And I said, if I become mayor, I will reform the police department, not just talk about it. As a matter of fact, when you run for mayor and you say you're going to reform the police department, let me tell you the one endorsement you don't get. It's the police department, okay? So I won a landslide, and I went out and found the best chief in America, the name of Dan Oates. He was a chief that President Obama said the greatest chief in America. And we brought Dan to Miami Beach, and we made him the chief. Then I brought an African-American woman by the name of Loretta Hill. And Loretta became our deputy chief. And she became the highest ranking woman and African-American in the history of the city of Miami Beach Police Department. So we didn't talk about it, we did it. We put cameras on our cops before Ferguson, and we changed the entire use of force in our city. So we actually did it. Matter of fact, we did a lot of things. We passed a resolution to ban assault rifles. We had the highest LGBTQ scores in the state of Florida. And after 2 terms, I said, I don't like this direction of the state of Florida, I'm running for governor. And that's what I've been doing. Everyone said when I began, my God, how is that guy going to win? Remember that? He's the Democratic Jewish mayor from Miami Beach. There's no way he can win statewide. There's no way. Because doesn't the whole population live up in northern Florida? No, it's in southern Florida, okay? So I'm running to do the things we know we need to do to change the state. But let me just leave it with this, folks, okay? Yes, we believe Amendment 4 needs to pass. And yes, we believe that we need criminal justice reform. Well, all the things we all talk about. But this election right here, this is the most important election in the world. So goes Florida this year. So goes the presidency in 2020. This is no joke.
Okay, Mayor Levine.
So I'll close it with this. A lot of great candidates out here. Make your vote count. Because we got to put our best forward so we can beat little mini me, Donald Trump's mini me, in November, and I want to be your candidate. Thank you for the opportunity, everybody. Thank you so much.
And lastly, we have Alex Lundmark. Is Alex here? The RSVP? Okay.
All right, good evening. My name is Lundy Lundmark. I am a realtor. I am a Rotarian. I am an Eagle Scout. And I'm a first-generation immigrant. I was born in Russia. I was adopted at age 10 by a loving family. I grew up in Vero Beach, Florida, studied in Indian River State College and also University of Central Florida. I graduated with business financing, emphasis in real estate. I was very fortunate to retire around age 31. And before I committed to this governor journey, I flew as much as possible, accumulating time and skill level needed to get into the airlines. Now, Floridians, I ran for you. I saw the first 3 debates on YouTube, and I was not satisfied with the other candidates' vision for Florida's future. I felt like it wasn't big enough for the opportunity. So I ran for you to give you another, different, better path to Florida's future. I envision a Florida where no law enforcement can pull over any residential vehicle for any reason without a court order. I envision a state that never pursues the death penalty and where the victim's family can reduce or eliminate their perpetrator's sentence at any time, creating a win-win situation for all involved, including you, the taxpayer. I encourage all of you to check out my website, Lundy, LUNDY.com, to see my vision for Florida's future. Again, I ran for you. I hear that everybody wants to get money out of politics. Well, here's your chance. Don't waste this opportunity because there's a good chance it's going to be a long time before you get another. We are where we are today because of the choices we made yesterday. Choose to share my vision throughout Facebook, and then choose me to be the candidate for Democratic nomination for Governor of Florida. Thank you.
Okay, next we're going to move on to Attorney General. Now, the Attorney General serves as the Chief Legal Officer of the state and is the head of the Florida Department of Legal Affairs. This position is extremely important. As you all may have known from the news, some attorney generals, some states led by their attorney generals sued the federal government so that they wouldn't have to comply with some federal laws, such as the ACA, also known as Obamacare. Several years ago, attorney generals from different states got together and sued what they call, big tobacco. And currently, some attorney generals from different states have gotten together and sued on behalf of this opioid crisis. So attorney generals take on some really extremely important issues on behalf of the residents of their state. So it's just really important to understand what they do and why it's important to vote for every single candidate on the ballot. Today, we're joined by the Democratic candidates, Sean Shaw, is he here? BRHVP.
I'm here to represent.
Okay. And your name is ma'am?
Nikita.
Okay, thank you. You have 2 minutes.
Yes. Good evening. Good evening. I was on yesterday's schedule, so I was actually in Pompano and then drove down here when I realized I was late. I'm clearly not Sean Shaw. My name is Nikita McClune. I'm the Regional Finance Director for Sean's campaign. I am from South Florida. I am based in and grew up in Miami Gardens. Just a few things to share. Sean is running to fight for the middle class. And what does that mean? Access to affordable health care. I get so nervous sometimes. I'll say this, access to affordable health care is extremely important and personal to me because I am a breast cancer survivor. And for a time, it was very difficult to go through this process and not having the resources. And at the time, I was uninsured. And, I kind of shared this story with Sean at some point. And I think I am one of the reasons why he's taking on and deciding to run for this office. Another interesting fact is Sean's father, which is probably his main reason that he's been a career public servant, is Leander Shaw, who was the first African-American Chief Justice for Florida. And so he has the unique ability to already understand what it's going to take to run for this type of seat. Oh, 30 seconds already. Sean went to Princeton University, attended law school at University of Florida, and he was a consumer advocate for Alex Singh, and so he fought for victims that were, people that were victims of the BP oil spill. He has the wherewithal and the knowledge, and as soon as he gets into this office, he'll already be prepared and know what to do. And so I am grateful for the invitation. Sean would have been here himself, but he had other engagements elsewhere. And so remember to vote for Sean Shaw August 28th and in November. Thank you very much.
The second candidate in the Democratic primary for Attorney General is Ryan Torrance.
Yeah, Ryan. Good one.
Hi, good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Good. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Ryan Torrance. I am a consumer protection attorney from Tampa, running as a Democrat for Florida Attorney General. Thank you for having me. Hi, Makita. I have spent my entire career going after big banks, debt collectors, and other big companies that rip our people off. I am running for Florida Attorney General because it's time that Florida have an Attorney General who will actually fight for justice, unlike what's going on right now. Fighting for justice means standing up to these abusive payday lenders that are ripping our people off and getting them caught in a debt trap instead of taking money from payday lenders. I am the only candidate in this race on either side of the aisle who has not taken 1 penny from payday lenders. Fighting for justice means fighting for a more fair criminal justice system in this state instead of what happens right now, like the pipeline to prison and everything else that's wrong with our criminal justice system. Fighting for justice means fighting to protect voting rights in this state instead of suppressing voting rights, which is what happens right now. And we are the only campaign that has proposed establishing a voting rights enforcement division within the Attorney General's office to protect voting rights in this state. And finally, what fighting for justice means is repealing Stand Your Ground, which has become a license to kill in this state. And most of our victims are minorities. And you know, I was on a panel this morning with my primary opponent, and Stand Your Ground came up. And you know what else came up? The fact that I am the only candidate in this race on either side of the aisle who will not defend Stand Your Ground. I have said that publicly, and I will stand by that as your Attorney General. Again, my name is Ryan Torrance, Democrat, running for Florida Attorney General. Hope to have your support. Thank you very much. Take it off with it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the state of Florida. We had Senator Gary M. Farmer, RCP. I wanted to know if he made it. If not, we'll move on. Okay. I guess Gary Farmer didn't make it. At this time, we're going to move on to the Broward County School Board members. We only have 2 of them, and they will get 2 minutes each. Our school board members are responsible for ensuring that all of our children receive a quality education in a safe, nurturing, and learning environment. And that task is not easy. Broward County has the 2nd largest school district in Florida. It's the 6th largest school district in the nation. And there are 189 different languages spoken in the Broward County Public Schools. So you have to be well equipped to deal with all the different issues presented. So first we had in District 4, Tennille Erica DeCosti, that RSVP. I just wanted to see if she was here. If not, we will move on to District 7, Mike Obel. Is Mike still here?
So Mike had to leave, I'm covering for you.
Okay. Out of coverage, I did see him earlier. Okay.
In the district, so I'm there home this again, right? So let me say this to you, that the school board has accomplished some good things over the past few years, and what Mike is running to do is ensure that we maintain that. Ensuring that we keep the current superintendent, who has done a tremendously powerful job in transforming our schools in Broward County, where they've moved from over 30 D's and F schools to now only 1. Graduation rates has increased. The prison, the schoolhouse, the jailhouse pipeline has been disrupted. He's a young, articulate, young man who's worked in the nonprofit sector now. He was a school teacher before. He owns a nonprofit that has raised money to put in our school system, millions of dollars. So he's already going to work. He's helping to keep our young people out of jail. He's offering tutoring program for them. Michael Bell is a product of our public school system and is quite capable of getting the job done. We need someone there who is young and bright and who understands the wide cross-section of people in Broward County enough to engage them and to ensure that our school system is working for all of us, and especially for those kids who had a tough time and coming from households that are lower income households. We need to ensure that we're putting resources in these areas to benefit all the students. So remember, Mike Bell, O-L-B-E-L. Great candidate, will do us proud. Thank you very much.
And it seems we have two of the candidates for the Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services here. So we do want to go ahead and call them up, as that is a statewide office. So we'll go ahead and do that at this time. We have. So we have Donna Corn. I'll finish off the school board with Donna Corn, who's running in the at-large seat here at Broward County School.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Donna Corn. I'm actually currently your county-wide school board member. I have been your school board member since 2010. I actually grew up here in Broward County. I graduated from Western High School. After graduating from Emory University in Atlanta, I had the opportunity to go back and teach at my alma mater. I taught at Western High School. I was there for 4 years. And after being there for 4 years, I had an opportunity to get into the private sector. I actually joined a commercial real estate firm. I work for Cushman & Wakefield. I've been doing commercial real estate for 22 years. So I bring not only the background of education, but also business. More than that, I bring the opportunity of being a mom. I have 3 children in our Broward County Public Schools. I have 1 in middle school and 2 in high school. I have the opportunity to be able to speak at the board meetings from every single perspective. It's one that I've cherished. It's one that I have brought to represent all of our kids in Broward County. I have 3 priorities, although obviously every day we're challenged with so many different issues. But safety and security has always been one of our priorities. We've actually recently, as a school board, done some significant outreach that's really unparalleled across the state in terms of measures that we've brought in and additional ones that we're looking into. Student achievement, Commissioner Holness spoke to a lot of the successes that we've recently had, and our scores go up every single year, our test scores as well as our graduation rates. That's our job, get your kids across the stage. And then lastly, increased teacher pay. Increased teacher pay has absolutely been a priority for me, having been a teacher, as well as having a sister who's currently a teacher. For the last 8 years, we have given teachers raises every year, and it is my goal to continue to do that. Hopefully, you will also consider the millage that will be on your ballot. That is going to be giving not only additional safety and security with SROs, it's also going to speak to having additional resources of guidance counselors, and ultimately, at least 70% of that money will be for teacher raises. So on August 28th, please go to the ballots and support me as your countywide school board member in seat 8. Thank you so much.
Please bear with us. We're trying to accommodate, the candidates as they come. We want you to hear from all of them. Next, we'll go back up to the Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. We have 2 of the candidates running in the Democratic primary. First up is Nikki Freed.
Everyone. Good evening. My name is Nikki Freed. I'm running for Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. I was born and raised in Miami, and I've lived in Fort Lauderdale now for the last 8 years. I went to the University of Florida, where I received my undergraduate degree, my master's, and my law degree. I was the first female of her 20 years as student body president. Taking on the boys is not something new for me. And then after law school, I went and started practicing law. I also spent 3.5 years in the public defender's office, seeing the injustice of the criminal justice system up close and personal. And for the last 5 years, I've been up and back in Tallahassee, fighting for public education, fighting for foster care children, and fighting for the expansion of medical marijuana. which is why I decided this year to make sure that I was on the ballot, because I felt that finally we need somebody in Tallahassee who is going to understand and take the will of the people and get things accomplished. And what has happened in 20 years with Republicans controlling the Consumer Services and the Department of Agriculture? We have seen a drastic decrease in all of our agriculture consumption and our products that are coming out of our Department of Agriculture. We have seen time and time again, the Department of Agriculture and Adam Putnam neglect our consumer services, our concealed weapons permits, our energy, our environment. We are in a state of emergency because what has happened in the last 8 years, and they have forgotten our water policies and the pollutions into Lake O. This is a problem that we must solve by having the right people in Tallahassee, taking on these issues, making changes, putting our consumers, putting our energy, putting our environment, and putting our water first. I've been blessed to be endorsed by most of our county commissioners here in Broward County, as well as most of our state senators and state representatives. I've also been endorsed by Roost List, SEIU, and numerous other organizations across the state of Florida. I will be the first female elected into this position, and I promise you, you will have a champion up in Tallahassee, fighting for the needs of the people of Florida, finally getting things right, finally having a balance between our people, our energy, our water, our environment, and our agriculture, and making sure that we have the right people in Tallahassee. Thank you.
Next up is Roy David Walker, who is also running in the Democratic primary for the Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services.
Hello, Broward County! Everyone hear me okay? Yes. Now, I always started using American Sign Language because it starts the beginning of my life. I was born premature, I couldn't speak until I was 5 years of age. So at age 3, when I came home from the hospital, I was learning ASL. So I always like to acknowledge the deaf and the ASL community to give them a voice. I do that as I travel the state. So, I'm R. David Walker, biologist, proud Democrat, running to be your next Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Now, a little bit about me. I'm an environmental biologist. I have a bachelor's in environmental science, a master's in environmental policy, and I've worked for the United States Geological Survey, the National Park Service, and Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. Over the years, I've researched and explored the impact of climate change. As an environmental biologist working for the state of Florida, I was not allowed to say that. I wasn't allowed to say climate change. And since then, I've been advocating for our environment. I've been advocating for our water, which is our livelihood. And it's happening right now in Florida. Now, Lake Okeechobee, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the special interests surrounding Okeechobee falls underneath the Department of Agriculture. And right now, Adam Putnam and the Department of Agriculture, when it comes to water policy and runoff, they are not holding anyone accountable for that pollution. And what that's doing right now to our environment, to our economy, is hurting us. Tourism's going down. Businesses are closing. And no one is talking about it. In fact, they only talk about it when there's an election. And guess what? It's election time. Now, with that, this is a very important role. It's one of the 4 cabinet level positions, but it's also consumer services. And I'm looking to grow our agriculture industry, protect the consumers. And with that, I'm Lord David Walker, biologist, Democrat, ready to be your next Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services.
Next, we're going to move on to District 28, the Democratic primary. We have one of those candidates here today, Stephen Corco. Please come to the front. Thank you.
It's actually District 98, ladies and gentlemen. 98, that's 9-8, and that is in Davie, Plantation, and Sunrise. It's a good majority of all 3 cities. My name is Stephen Corca, and I'm running to be the state representative in that district. Let me tell you about myself a little bit. I'm a small business owner. I own 2 comic book and collectible stores, one in Pembroke Pines and one in Miami. I'm also a lifelong musician, and you can find me on stage actually tomorrow at the Blue Martini in Fort Lauderdale if anyone wants to come out. That's a true story. 8 to 12, I'll be there. So I'm running for office because I'm fortunate to be a middle-class American, but I see a lack of transparency, honesty, and authenticity in our government. I see a lack of representation for the low to middle-class person from our government. And I want to step up to the plate and represent us properly. I want to give the honesty, transparency, and authenticity that I feel we are lacking. There are 4 things that I stand behind that are true to me. One is planet sustainability. I say planet sustainability because it's bigger than just climate change. It's about clean water. It's about clean air. It's about food supply. It's about protecting our resources for our generations and our future generations to come. The algae bloom is a direct result of rising temperatures. Everything that's happening, the red tide, all the dead fish, it's because of that we need to fix what's happening, or else our kids and our kids' kids will be greatly affected by that. Healthcare that works is another thing that I'm behind. I don't have health insurance right now. I was paying $400 a month with a $5,000 deductible. I couldn't afford it. I decided to roll the dice and take a gamble that, God forbid, I'm okay. And that goes for right now until hopefully we can find a solution. I stand behind a public option where each and every single one of us should have the access to health care if we want it and not be controlled by private insurance. I stand for true equality for all. I am not better than anybody in this room, and nobody in this room is better than me. We are all trying to make it and carve out some piece of happiness in this very short time we are here, and we lose sight of that. The 4th thing that's important to me is immigration advocacy, because it's atrocious what is happening right now. Our ancestors, I'm a 4th generation American that my ancestors came from Europe, and the people that want to come to this country should have the same right and the same opportunity to make a life for themselves, work and live wherever they want on this planet. And the fact that we can't do that in America is sad. Now, and though I'm running for state representative, it's a federal issue. If the federal government can't get it right, I'm all for sanctuary cities or states because it's the right thing to do. Again, my name is Stephen Corca. If you know someone in Davie Plantation or Sunrise, or you live in that district, by all means, tell them about me. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I can't read. I want to assure you I can't read. And I'm looking at it. It says District 98, and I must have said something else, unfortunately. But yes, he's running in District 98 in the Democratic primary for the Florida House. Thank you for coming. Next, we're going to move on to the Circuit Court judges. The Circuit Court is a court of general jurisdiction. It has exclusive and original jurisdiction in all actions at law in which the matter in controversy exceeds $15,000, and proceedings relating to civil disputes as well as criminal, juvenile, family, domestic violence, and probate issues. The most important consideration, I think, when considering whether to vote for a judge is whether they will be fair and impartial in applying the law to all of those that come before the court. And so next we'll hear from the candidates for Circuit Court Judge. It is a nonpartisan race. First up, Group 8, we have Alan E. Schneider. All right, I see you. Come on up. And could the candidates for Group 36 and 38 come over here towards the wall so we can get you guys on?
There you go. Oh, he didn't start my time yet. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry we all have to stand outside for all the other people. I would have loved to have heard what other people had to say, but thank you for hosting this. I think these types of nonpartisan community events are incredible. My name is Alan Schneider. I'm the first judicial choice that you're going to make, and I hope you choose me for your judge on August 28th or earlier if you vote. Why should you choose me? I'm an attorney for I lost half my time. Attorney for 30 years here in Broward County. Grew up in Broward County, Nova High School, K through 12. and I have the most diverse experience of anyone that you would want as one of your judges. It's going to be rotated around. I promise you that I went to University of Florida Law School, graduated with honors, and I promise you that I have what it takes up here to be a smart, good judge, and I have in here what all of you are going to want, someone with compassion and understanding to do the right thing that you can trust to be the judge that you're looking for. I'm out of time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next up, we have the candidates in Group 36 for Circuit Court Judge. We have Shari Afrik Olafson first up.
Hi, I'm Shari Afrik Olafson. I'm originally from New York, but I've been here in Broward over 50 years, always very involved in your community, from child welfare to equal pay to fair housing. I've written many books to help people who can't afford a lawyer to get their legal rights met. I have also been very involved in saving homes. I have a 30-year legal practice, civil and criminal law, over 20,000 cases inside and outside the courtroom. But most importantly is I have actually already been doing this job. I am a mediator that's been certified by the Florida Supreme Court to receive referrals from judges to help with their difficult cases. So unlike a trial lawyer who takes one side of the case, adjusts the facts to a narrative to fit that one side of the case, and then goes in the courtroom and aggressively argues, I have been listening fairly to both sides of the case, helping people reach a just resolution of their cases. Over 90% of all cases resolve that way, and that's what I have been doing for the last 30 years, essentially the role of a judge. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shari. Next up, we have Kristen Weisberg-Padowitz.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody? Good? Good. I am Kristen Weisberg-Padowitz. I am running for Circuit Court Judge in Group 36. I am the only person in this race with jury trial experience. I have tried 75 jury trials, everything from second-degree murder to capital sexual battery, which is sex crimes against children. I've tried child abuse cases and burglaries, robberies, thefts, everything all the way down to misdemeanors. I think that that experience is so important when you want to be a judge in Broward County. So if you can imagine, raise your hand if it would make you comfortable to stand before a judge who has never tried a case and they're going to make a decision about your life. Anybody? Of course, there's no hands. Jury trial experience matters. I have also been, I started as a public defender. I then became an assistant state attorney. So I have both sides of criminal law under my belt, and I'm ready to hit the ground running. So please vote for me, Kristen Weisberg-Padowitz. Jury trial experience matters. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have the candidates running in Group 38. Come on up. I don't want to exclude anyone, so come on up and... Do we have anyone in Group 38? Okay, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Melissa Donahoe. Thank you for having me. I've been practicing law for 26 years. This is a race with 4 people in the race, so you're going to have to get yourselves educated. We have really quick time to talk. Like I said, I've been practicing for 26 years. I have 3 kids. They all went to public schools right here, Carbondale Elementary, Sunrise Middle, and Fort Lauderdale High. I've been married for 25 years. My husband's a law professor at Nova, at the law school. And today, I run the regional counsel office. I'm chief assistant regional counsel. I run an office of 56 to 60 lawyers and staff. We do public defender work, just like the public defender. And we do dependency work. We represent families whose kids have been taken away by the state, and we work at reuniting those families. So I have been a public servant my entire career, and I want to continue that work. I'm passionate about it. I come to this building all the time. I'll be here tomorrow because I'm part of the racial equity work group for Broward County. And we are trying to change the removal of children from 33311 and 33313 because children in those communities are being disproportionately removed from their families based on poverty. And I've been working in that work group for 17 months, and I am part of this community. And I really hope to have your vote on August 28th. Melissa Donahoe, Experience Matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Next, we have Linda Marie Leali.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Linda Leali, Group 38. Thank you so much for having us here today. I had the opportunity recently to attend the grand opening of some of the homes that the Urban League built. And so I was very impressed with the efforts, and I thank you again for letting me be here today to speak to you. To tell you a little bit about myself, I am a South Florida native, 19-year resident of Broward County. I'm one of 6 kids, number 4. My daughter, Violet, is an amazing violinist. To tell you about my professional self, I am a business lawyer. I'm principally a business lawyer, and that's important because 80% of our cases are actually civil cases, and only 20% are criminal cases. So we need all types of judges on the bench, and most of our lawyers that become judges are family lawyers and criminal law lawyers. We need diversity and depth on the bench. To tell you a little bit more about myself, I am also a graduate of the University of Miami School of Law, a magna cum laude, and I was also the member of the Law Review. But I'm going to go ahead because I know our time is almost up, and I'd like to let you know, each and every one of you, that if you come before me and I'm the judge, I will be fair, I will be impartial, I will be sensitive to your needs. More important than that, I will be hardworking, and that is something that I can promise to you. Thank you.
Next up, in Group 38, we have Stephanie Camille Moon.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Stephanie Camille Moon, candidate for Circuit Court Judge in Group 38. I'm a 5th-generation Florida native, so my roots run deep in this community. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother in a very strict disciplinarian home. Despite any obstacle we faced, education was always the priority. In fact, my mother and I graduated from college in the very same year. I went on to law school and then returned here 22 years ago to practice law. I'm the only candidate in my race who has been both a plaintiff and a defense attorney, handling both civil and criminal matters in both state and federal court. I've also served as a special master for the Value Adjustment Board. That means I've already conducted adversarial hearings and written my recommendations in the form of findings of fact and conclusions of law. So I have fundamentally done this job. Please remember, Stephanie Camille Moon, Circuit Court Judge, Group 38, once in a blue moon.
Okay, next up we have Group 38. The candidates for Group 39, 42, 43, and 46, please come up. We're going to start first in Group 39, Susan Lynn Al-Spector.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Susan Al-Spector. I'm running in Group 39 for Circuit Court. I have been a marital and family trial attorney for 27 years, and I've had my own practice for 26 of those years of sole practice. I've done a lot of work in this community and been involved with people here. I am a pro bono attorney for veterans, representing veterans free of charge in our court system. I've been doing that for the last 4 years under an organization called Mission United, which is under the umbrella of the United Way of Broward County. Thank you. In addition, I am a volunteer at the Boys and Girls Clubs, and I value the work that they do for working families and giving their children a safe place to be. I also work with the Broward County Bar to promote professionalism and ethics in our legal community. I'm a 48-year resident of this county. My roots run very, very deep. I'm a product of the public schools here. And one of the most important things is knowing in a county this size, this county is diverse. We have people from all walks of life, all different skin colors, all different languages. And it's important for our judges, and I will, show you compassion and dignity and respect and equality, because you're entitled to that, and it's my obligation to do so. Susan Al-Spector, Group 39, Circuit Court. Thank you.
Next up is Camille Coolidge Shotwell, Group 39. Is she here? No? If not, Susan. Next up, we have Group 42. Richard Brian Kaplan is up next.
Good evening, thank you for having us here. It's a great crowd and awesome opportunity when we deal with women voters to get our message out and educate our voters here. My name is Richard Brian Kaplan. I am running for Circuit Court Judge in Group 42, and I am running because there needs to be a change here in Broward County, and the time for change is now. We've had too many issues dealing with our judiciary, and I think the public's faith in the justice system has been rocked, and we need to change that because the judiciary is such a precious, important thing. This needs to be an independent judiciary, not beholden to an appointment or to individuals based on who they are, what group they're from. Justice needs to be blind, it needs to be independent, it needs to be able to provide a fair and impartial kind of justice to the people so that the people have faith that they walk into a courthouse and that they will get a fair decision that is based on law and facts. That is why I'm running. My name is Richard Brian Kaplan. I need your vote and support on August the 28th. Remember, I'm ensuring liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Michael Hussein, also Group 42.
Good evening. I'm Circuit Court Judge Michael Uson. It's not the easiest name to pronounce, but it should be easy enough for you to remember. Just think USA, and there's an N on the end. So it's been my honor and privilege to serve you as a Circuit Court Judge for the past 9 years. And in considering who you will vote for, experience is important. It matters in what we do. And I'm not just talking about my experience over the course of the past 9 years on the bench. I'm talking about the 31 years I've been a member of the Florida Bar, the 17 years that I was in private practice here in Broward County, the time I spent with the state attorney's office, and the more than 200 jury trials I had before taking the bench. And prior to that, I had an experience that I think sets me apart and really helped me in being a judge now, and that is I spent 8 years in the United States Air Force. I'm proud to say I'm a veteran of the Gulf War, and when you serve under those circumstances, you learn the weight and gravity of responsibility. So, unfortunately, I can't stay here tonight. I'm on my way to Naples. I'm teaching at the Circuit Judges Conference. It's in their 3rd day. I'm here campaigning, but I'm teaching a course tomorrow on implicit bias in sentencing and how to combat that. But I'm here to ask for your vote tonight. Thank you, Judge Mike Uson.
Thank you. Next up, we have Group 43, Karen Elizabeth Berger.
All right, thank you all for being here this evening. Karen Berger, I am a candidate for Broward County Circuit Court Judge in Group 43. So instead of listing my resume and giving you a kind of a rundown of my diverse litigation practice, I'm going to tell you why I am running for judge. I am running for judge because I have been inspired by so many women throughout this country who have and are running for office and trying to instill a positive change in their communities. And I really hope that if elected, I also could inspire a little bit of a positive change in the community. Now, I firsthand have experienced bias as a woman, and simply because I'm a woman in the legal system. Let me put it this way, that if I had a quarter for every time that someone assumed I was a court reporter and not an attorney, simply because I was a woman, I would have a lot more money to donate to my own campaign. Right, so but joking aside, what's important about that is that I understand that bias in the legal system, it can extend to so many people and for so many different reasons, and I think it's important for a judge to have that understanding and not simply just recognize it. So come August 28th, I ask you for your vote, Karen Elizabeth Berger for Group 43, Broward County Circuit Court Judge. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Dan Casey, Group 43.
Hi everybody, my name is Dan Casey, and I'm also a candidate for Circuit Court Judge in Group 43.
I am going to tell you about my resume because I think that experience matters when it comes to making him a great judge. I was born and grew up in blue-collar, working-class communities in Pittsburgh and West Virginia, and learned at a very early age that our system of justice doesn't treat everybody justly, doesn't treat everybody the same. I saw it with my grandparents, I saw it with my parents, I saw it with the kids I played ball with. So I decided at a very early age that I'd become a lawyer, despite the fact that I never met a lawyer before I went to college. I went to college, I went to law school at Georgetown. Coming out of Georgetown, I knew I wanted to be a trial lawyer, and so I looked for a trial job and found one. I was hired by Janet Reno in 1981 to work at the Dade County State Attorney's Office. I worked there for a number of years, and boy did I learn how to try a case. For the last 30 years, I've been a trial lawyer with a civil practice firm trying cases across the country, of all different types, many, many cases. I also served as the managing partner of my firm as we grew the firm into a global 20 law firm. My name is Dan Casey. I'd love to put all of that experience, both that deep legal experience and that broad life experience, to work for you on the bench as a great judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next up, we have the candidates for Group 46, James Curry.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for staying, and thank you for having this event. My name is H. James Curry. I'm a senior attorney with the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice, and I've been so for 22 years. My experience is quite different from many of the other attorneys in that I focus exclusively on juvenile issues. And how I arrived at that is that when I first started at the age of 22, I worked for the Legal Aid Society of New York as a paralegal before I went to law school for 10 years. So in total, I have 32 years experience. You know, experience matters. We talk about diversity. We talk about changing the system. We need to bring people who think differently to this court system. It's like a body of people. We want to focus on the next generation. I believe the key and the answer is different people focus on next generation. They're going to change the world. We need to make sure they're equipped and able to do it. My expertise with the Department of Juvenile Justice will be a welcomed addition to this court. We have to focus on things like drug court. We have to focus on things like mental health court. My name is H. James Curry. Remember Curry. Vote for Curry and you'll have no worries. Thank you.
Next up, we have Walter Dale Miller, Group 46.
Good evening. My name is Dale Miller. I am a candidate for Circuit Court in Group 46. A little bit about myself. I'm a native of South Florida. I was born in Miami. I grew up down here. I've been living in Hollywood for the past 21 years. Married and have 2 children, both attend public schools here in Broward County. I went to law school when I was 39 years old. I served 12 years in the United States Navy, 4 years on active duty during the Cold War, and 8 years in the reserves during the Iraq War. I did 3 internships with the state attorney while I was in law school. I did a year in private practice and then went to the public defender's office, and I've been there for the past 12 years. My boss is Howard Finkelstein. Does anybody know Howard? Yeah. If you want to know what kind of person I am, if you want to know what kind of lawyer I am, if you want to know what kind of judge I will be, call Howard, 954-831-8644. He'll be happy to tell you. I volunteer for my community. I'm a member of the Knights of Columbus, the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, and my time is up. My name is Dale Miller. Put a veteran on the bench. It's Miller time. Thank you.
The third candidate in that Group 46 is Maria Weekes. Is she here? Did she come? If not, we will move on to the county court judges. Now, the county court is a limited jurisdiction court hearing actions at law in which the controversy does not exceed $15,000. County courts have exclusive jurisdiction over traffic, small claims, most landlord and tenant disputes, and misdemeanor criminal cases. So the first up is Group 9, Tanner Demery. Is he here? Okay.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Tanner Channing Demery. I'm running for an open seat, Group 9, County Court seat. A little bit about me. Born here, raised here, and I actually work here in Fort Lauderdale. My roots run deep here. I come from blue-collar roots. My dad owns a successful auto repair facility, 35 years in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Very proud of him. I learned from my family early on, you don't judge a book by its cover. You get all sorts of people. We all look very differently. We come from different places. We come from different meanings, different ages, different sexes, everything. But the one thing we all value, and the one thing I've learned in my law practice, is that we all want to feel like we're going to get a fair shake. We want to feel like we're going to be able to come to court and be treated fairly and consistently, without regard for what you look like, where you come from, the size of your wallet. I'm currently a public defender. Prior to that, I was a state attorney. I've held the hand of a victim that's been through horrendous crimes, but I've also put my arm around the shoulder of a young man that found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, looking at the wrong side of the law. So the one thing I've found is everyone wants a voice, and that's what I'm running on. So remember Tanner Demery, please keep Demery in your memory. Thank you so much.
All right, next up you have Leonore Greller. And while she's coming up, I'd like to acknowledge County Court Judge John Phillips, if he's still here, sitting judge.
Here's my timekeeper. Okay. Hi, my name's Leonore Greller, and I'm running for Group 9. My opponent just spoke, so you have a very good way of comparing us. I am a 33-year attorney in New York State, and I am admitted here for 8 years. I'm homesteaded here in Coconut Creek, so I really like living in Coconut Creek. One of the things that was said was that county court just does landlord, tenant, and other things. I'm here to tell you that it's the people's court. It does hurricane damage, pipes, mechanics, anything that happens in your experience with something that's less than $15,000, we handle. Just a little bit about me. I put myself through school. 3 people helped me go through law school. I worked at night. I have a master's degree. I have 33 years experience as a New York State judge. I'm a mediator and an arbitrator today. And I'm also a special master. So just as one of the other candidates spoke, I also am fair and impartial, and I only represent both sides as a fair and impartial mediator and arbitrator. Thank you.
Group 10, we have Robert F. Diaz up next.
I'm Judge Robert F. Diaz. I've been your county court judge for 26 years. I teach new judges, both circuit and county, at the Judges College for the last 24 years, teaching them how to act in a courtroom. I teach at Nova University Law School, street law program, where I teach law students to teach the kids about the law. I'm out in the community a lot. I also do my own work in the court, obviously. I've had over 350 jury trials in the courtroom, and before, when I was a public defender, I had 125 jury trials in 8 years. I've been endorsed by 8 separate agencies: the AFL-CIO, the Broward Teachers Union, the FOP, the PBA, the Broward Sheriff's Office Union, the SAVE PAC. I tell you that because Miami Herald back in 2012 recommended me because of what I do and said, Judge Diaz is a well-respected member of Broward's legal profession who has a reputation for having an efficient professional courtroom and dispensing impartial justice. Please vote for me on August 28th, your county court judge, Robert Diaz.
Next up we have Michael John Heiss. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. My name is Michael Heiss. I am running for County Court Judge, Group 10. A little about me. Before I went to law school, I was in the military. I was a military police officer. And I tell you, some of the things I learned in my training have stuck with me my entire career. I learned about hard work. I learned about discipline, respect, integrity, all the things you need to be a good judge. I have been in the courtroom for 27 years. I have seen a lot. I am running because the quality of judges is important. I am running because I believe there needs to be a change in Group 10. Change is good. Sometimes change is necessary. I'm a firm believer, things don't get better by chance, they get better by change. But I'm not the only one that thinks that. Part of it being running for this seat, we were interviewed by Sun Sentinel, and the panel of 3 editors felt in June of 2018, felt that change is necessary too, and change is needed in Group 10. They have endorsed me over the 26-year incumbent. I ask for your help. I ask for the citizens to be part of the change. Vote for Heiss on August 28th. Thank you.
Next up, we have Group 17, Michael Davis. Could the candidates for Group 19 come to the front?
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I'm Judge Michael Davis. It's so nice to see you. I have to tell you, without mentioning any names, several people tonight who I met asked me, "Are you the judge I saw on TV with the kids?" You made my night. For everyone that mentioned that, you made my night. Last year, or about 2 years ago actually now, when I first got on the bench, I was assigned to the First Appearance Criminal Division. And it was upsetting to see how many young children were being charged with serious felony offenses. So I called our school board and I asked them if we could start a program where young people who are maybe going down the wrong track could come into the courtroom, see what's going on, arrange for them to hear from some speakers. And it's a fantastic program. Channel 7 got interested in this story about that. I didn't do it for running for re-election. I wasn't up for re-election, or retention at the time, I should say. I do it because I care about the community, I care about people. I'm a judge, I love what I do. I hope that you'll remember me. I'm in Group 17 on August 28th. I hope that you'll vote Judge Michael Davis. Thank you so much.
Next up is Mara Sokolov, also running in Group 17.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having us, and thanks for coming out. I'm Rhoda Ann Sokoloff, running for County Court Judge in Group 17. I'm the most qualified in this race. I've got 40 years in the legal field, 18 years as a lawyer. I went back to school at the age of 37, starting from scratch, one class at a time. It took me 9 years to do my undergrad and then get my law degree. I was 46 when I graduated. And I know you all think I'm only 46 now. Family law, domestic violence, dependency law, civil litigation, both on the county level and circuit level. And I didn't see what the sign said. If you want to know about me, if you haven't got my card, I'll get you my card, but I'm so involved in the community. Go on Facebook, you can see my personal page, you can see my campaign page. Go to Rhoda4judge.com to see my webpage, and you can see all the involvement in the community. And that's really important because public service in the community and being a judge is public service. It's just an extension of what I already do. So remember, Rhoda Ann Sokoloff, County Court Judge, Group 17. Thank you.
All right, and our last group in County Court, Group 19, Allison Gilman is up first.
I have a gift, a very unusual and special gift. I inspire people to do amazing things. When they think they have nothing left, I tell them it's only a test. This is a test, get up and fight with me. And they do. I have spent 27 years representing women that have gone through the most horrendous lives you could ever imagine. And I have defended them against charges that they should have never been charged with. But I have inspired them to believe in themselves. And I don't just do that in the courtroom, I do it outside of the courtroom. I've been a foster mother most of my life, taking in foster children. Who else needs inspiring more than them? Children that have nothing come to me because I want to make a difference, and I have made a difference. And that is why I'm doing this. I don't want to be a good judge. I want to be a great judge. I want to inspire people in my courtroom. And that's why I want to be your next candidate for County Court Judge. My name is Allison Gilman. Please vote for me August 28th.
John Phillips.
My name is John Jack Phillips. I want to be your county court judge and your county court judge. Why? Because you're the voter, you're the taxpayer, you're entitled to integrity, hard work, transparency, and a judge that does what they're supposed to do. Others tonight have said we've had some problems with the judges in this county lately. We all know what we're talking about. You're not going to have that problem with me. I came down from Newark, New Jersey 36 years ago from Seton Hall Law, and in more than 36 years I've tried thousands of cases, clients from every walk of life. I'm the type of lawyer you can call with any problem because I've pretty much done it. I bring vast experience in state and federal, criminal, defendant, plaintiff, all walks of life. My two opponents are terrific people. I bring something different, this vast experience. I've been a volunteer in Fort Lauderdale 13 years on thousands of evidentiary cases. The Code Enforcement Board and Unsafe Structure Board, they put liens on people's property, they knock them down. I was the bulwark against people who were challenged by the city, mostly in this area. I've been endorsed by the AFL, the teachers, the electrical union, my son over there, and my baby girl who just graduated college today at FAU. My name is John Jack Phillips. Most people don't know Jack about these judges candidates, right? But you don't have that problem tonight because now you know Jack.
Last but not least, we have Jackie Powell, running in Group 19.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jackie Powell, and I am your county court candidate in Group 19. The Sun Sentinel in their endorsement said, and I quote, "Jackie Powell is the best of three good choices," and I agree with them. 10 years as a paralegal, and then when I enrolled in law school, my daughter was 7 and my son was 4. I went to law school full-time, worked part-time, and then I graduated on time. On the day that I passed the bar is the day that I started working at the public defender's office. And then I went into private practice, and then today I manage my own firm, practicing mainly the areas of family law and criminal defense. I've been serving this community 17 years, mentoring young people, a volunteer for the Boys and Girls Club, a volunteer guardian ad litem. I have been working, this year I was honored through the Boys and Girls Club as one of their 100 outstanding honorees. And I was also an honoree this year, 2018, for the Women's History Month. I'm asking you to remember Powell for the People on August 28, 2018. Thank you.
I would like to thank all the candidates for coming tonight. Before we close, I did want to acknowledge, I think we have a couple of people running in November. I just kind of wanted them to raise their hands so people can go around and talk to them. I think we have someone running for governor who's an independent candidate in the next corner. You can give him a call. His name's Brad. You can talk to him. He'll be, because he's running as an independent, he will be on the November ballot and not in the August primary that we have coming up, okay? I want to thank you all for coming. Please give all of the candidates a big round of applause. It takes a lot to get into their privacy and their time, subject yourself to public scrutiny and to run for office. On behalf of the Chamber, thank you for coming, and please don't forget our Chamber launch is next Monday, August 13th, right here at the Urban League. We're not talking about it. We need action here in the county. Many people said that we needed a Broward County Black Chamber of Commerce, and so we are launching one. So join the Chamber, become an active member, help push our issues to the forefront. Visit our website. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Lastly, but not least, of course, I'd like to thank again our partners. So I'd like to say thank you to the Urban League of Broward County for letting us use their beautiful facility, and thank you to the League of Women Voters back in the corner providing information. And thank you to our volunteers. Thank you so much, Kristen and Jocelyn. I appreciate it. Have a good night.